Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Auto insurance can all seem the same until it comes time to use it. So don't get stuck paying more for less coverage. Switch to USAA Auto Insurance and you could start saving money in no time. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
Welcome into 49ers Access. My name is Sterling Bennett, and yesterday the San Francisco 49ers made a rather impactful signing on the offensive line, signing offensive tackle D.J Humphries to a 1-year contract. But can he be this team's much-needed swing tackle or potentially a Band-Aid if Trent Williams goes down? We're going to talk about all that right here on 49ers Access. The NFL draft came and went, and the San Francisco 49ers said, you know what? We don't need to draft an offensive tackle. And all the fans said, what are you smoking, brother? Because this team lost Jalen Moore in free agency. Trent Williams is not often injured, but has dealt with injuries in his career, especially the last couple seasons with the San Francisco 49ers. And Colton McKivitz has the ire of many of the Niner faithful. But yesterday, San Francisco made the smart move to add D.J Humphries, veteran tackle, to the roster. It's a move I think most fans won't balk at. They'll like and say, finally, you did something on the offensive line, mainly at tackle. They went 11 draft picks, only taking one guard in round 7 during the NFL draft. Most fans were screaming on social media, and maybe at a certain point screaming at their TV, and maybe into their beers saying, why isn't San Francisco addressing the offensive line? Well, you added Connor Colby, and now San Francisco has signed D.J Humphries to a 1-year deal. I'm not exactly sure as to how much money's involved there just yet, but last year he was signed to a $2 million contract by the Kansas City Chiefs. Only played basically 2.5 games or 1.5 games, got hurt. So I'm assuming the contract's around or just under $2 million for 1 year. But this is a move I think most Niner fans are championing, saying, good, finally. I have my questions, though, and we'll dive into that today. But I do want to give you some background into who D.J Humphries is. He was drafted all the way back in 2016 by the Arizona Cardinals, where he would spend all but 1 year of his near decade-long NFL career, that being last year with the Kansas City Chiefs. But he spent 2016 all the way to 2023 with the Arizona Cardinals. He's 6'5", 307 pounds, has a 5.12 40 time, and was drafted 24th overall in the 2016 NFL Draft. He's one of those players that has quietly gone under the radar, but been one of the best tackles in football for, again, almost a decade plus now. He is 32 years old, so he is no spring chicken, not going to give you the next 4 years on your roster, but is a player trying to elongate his career, trying to stay in the NFL, and also I think can give you some valuable reps on your roster. When you go back to who he was, as my mic falls here on the show, go back to who he was with the Arizona Cardinals, and he was a left tackle and right tackle, then primarily moved to left tackle in 2017. He's had over 1,000 snaps dating from 2019 to 2021, jump back up to around 920 snaps in 2023, but overall has been a relatively competitive player, relatively strong player, and consistent player over his, again, near decade-long NFL career. But with that said, the big thought was, oh great, it's a swing tackle for San Francisco. And I want to push back on that idea for a second because in his career, D.J. Humphries has a 69.5 PFF run blocking grade. So that's above average, about 9 points above average for them. Has a 65.7 pass blocking grade, about 5.7 points above their average medium line. But he also hasn't played right tackle since 2016, his rookie season. So this idea that he can play right tackle at the NFL level, although isn't wrong, it's just a question of can he still do it about 9.5 years into his career, coming off of 2 rather serious injuries the past couple seasons. Since 2023, his last year with the Cardinals and last year with the Kansas City Chiefs, he's given up 39 pressures, nearly 40 pressures and 7 sacks, and only 637 pass blocking snaps. That's a 6% pressure rate. Now, I say those things and it kind of sounds like I'm being negative, and to a certain extent I am, kind of pushing back on the idea that he'll be this all-star signing. He's better than what they got, so it's really hard to say it's a bad move for San Francisco, nor am I actually saying it's a bad move for San Francisco. However, I think a lot of fans are just happy they're doing something on the offensive line for once, getting a tackle in the building. He's going to be better than Matt Pryor was when he was signed a couple years back and was really bad during training camp when 2022, I think it was. He's going to give you more than, say, Austin Pleasance will, who is your current swing tackle. He should be able to give you at least a little bit of something more than Spencer Burford, which right now this team doesn't have a right tackle, so Humphries immediately slides in there if it all works well. But I do question, is he willing or even capable of moving over to the right side once again, almost 9 years later from his rookie season? The other question I am tinkering with is, does San Francisco not think they need to have a swing tackle this year? The way the roster is currently constructed, it's more of like you have Humphries, who, yes, could be that for you if he can go back to the right side, but also, let's say he can't. Let's say, theoretically, he just can't go back to the right side, and he has to play left tackle for you. Okay, not a bad idea. He's been there for the last, 10 years, 9 years of his career, and really has cemented himself as a left tackle at the NFL level. However, I think there is a chance that, while yes, they're going to try him out at right tackle, you could move Spencer Burford from backup left guard to right tackle in a pinch and say that's your position now. You're going to be the backup left guard to Ben Barch. Maybe he wins that job, although I don't think he will. And say, okay, if McKivitz goes down, you're back to right tackle, which is where you played at UTSA back when you were in college, and Humphries can become your backup left tackle. There are some concerns with Burford on the right side again. He was right guard for a couple of years, started, then kind of shared time with John Feliciano. Then last year, he was very open about being more comfortable being on the left side of the offensive line. So do you want to mess with that? It just seems like San Francisco is searching for answers, and they're going to kind of throw everything at the wall and to finally get them. And I don't mind that. I like this signing a lot. I think D.J Humphries can bring value to you, and I do think it's worth almost erasing the last 2 years of his NFL career and saying that doesn't matter. A lot of injuries. He tore his ACL in 2022 with the Cardinals, I believe. Came back in 2023, or the last couple of years, tore his ACL. It wasn't a great player. Then came back last year and immediately got hurt after 92 snaps with the Chiefs, and again was a mixed result, so wasn't good. Gave up 3 sacks in about 69 pass blocking opportunities. So there's a lot of good but rather inconsistencies with DJ Humphries. Can he stay healthy? I think there's a real chance. There's 2 avenues where one, he makes the roster and becomes your swing tackle or your backup left tackle. That's great. You need that. The other one is he doesn't make the roster at all. They have $50 million in cap space now, saved about $10 million after the George Kittle contract extension. So they have money to spend. I don't know if they want to utilize those funds with Brock Purdy and Fred Warner, or go find some more defensive tackles, or sign an offensive tackle here and there. I have no idea. Go find a safety to replace Malik Mustafa in the meantime. But there is a way where Humphries doesn't even make the roster. I think the hope is he does, because they signed him It's rather non-committal, low guaranteed, if any guarantee at all, when it comes to financials. They signed him a day after the deadline for compensation pick formula comes into play, so they don't give him any comp picks for him at all. The contract's probably really low. And I think it's more of a veteran player who wants to extend his career. Come in here, we need a tackle, see if you fit. Would you like San Francisco to have more options? Certainly. Right now, that tackle room is seemingly just Trent Williams and McKivitz as your starters, Humphries and Burford as your left tackle, maybe right tackles, and Austin Pleasants can become your right tackle. I do think most Niner fans would say they don't want Austin Pleasants being their right tackle or backup swing tackle for a good reason. And I know many of you out there may go to PFF or may see stats about D.J. Humphries out there that say, wow, in 2024, in 92 offensive snaps, a 44.8 offensive grade, a 66.1 run blocking grade, and a career-low catastrophic 30.5 pass blocking grade, you're going to see that and say, oh my God, no, oh my God, there's just no way, get it off the roster. This is the guy you're bringing in, seriously? This is the guy you want to bank on being your maybe swing tackle for 1 year's time. This is the guy where if Trent Williams goes down for a couple games, he's the guy playing for you, blocking for Brock Purdy. You're going to see that and go, yikes. Seriously? And it's going to have many of you out there, and to a certain extent myself, saying, maybe you should have addressed tackle in the NFL draft and found a guy you can rely on, or at least can excuse some issues, saying, oh, he's 23, he's 22, he's a rookie, whatever, it's going to happen, but there's promise there. Humphries is 32 years old, off of 2 injuries. There's not much promise there. You're asking for a higher baseline, but you're also asking yourself to risk a rather lower ceiling, and maybe if things don't go well, a guy that gets injured again for you, or just can't hang anymore at the right tackle position, and maybe if things go really bad, also can't play left tackle for you. However, he's seemingly in shape and working out, getting his body right. I think going back to the NFC West, which is where I do want to pause for a second to remind you, if you want to go to a Niner game this year, see your 2025 draft class, hopefully not, but maybe see DJ Humphries in a Niner jersey, go to SeatGeek.com and save yourself $20 off your first purchase by using promo code 49ersaccess, 49 ERSACCESS at SeatGeek.com. And again, save yourself $20 off your first purchase. DJ Humphries getting back to the NFC West, to me, is a big deal.
This episode is brought to you by Loom by Atlassian. Are you feeling stuck at work? Get your team unstuck with Loom video messaging and move work forward. Use Loom to simultaneously record both your screen and yourself to share a quick update, provide feedback, train a colleague, and everything in between. Plus, add Loom AI to your meetings for instant written notes and recordings. Try Loom today at Loom.com. That's LOOM.com.
It's a big deal for him to get back into a Kyle Shanahan offense, an offense that fits what he wants to do as an offensive tackle, one that fits his strengths, because I know last year, Kansas City, it's not a Kyle Shanahan offense. It's not the same scheme at all, but you would think in a Andy Reid offense, the way they utilize the tackles, it will fit E.J. Humphries. There were some injuries for sure, but his best years came from 2019 through 2022 when he was with Cliff Kingsbury and the Arizona Cardinals, and you saw a much different player. Now, yes, he was younger. Yes, he wasn't injured, so take that into account for sure, but that kind of 3-year stretch, 19, 20, 21, 22, 4-year stretch, that was his best, his best career years. A 67.6 run blocking grade through 4 seasons with the Cardinals as left tackle, blocking for Kyler Murray and Colt McCoy. I think Josh Rosen was in there too for a year maybe. And then you have pass blocking grades, a career high 75.6 through 4 years with the Cardinals. So you are seeing more comfortability there with him in a Cliff Kingsbury, kind of Kyle Shanahan-like offense, although different. Yes, they have their differences, but Shanahan's offense is much more like Kingsbury's compared to Andy Reid's, Also, only 13 total tackles in those 4 years, or 13 total sacks given up, in those 4 years' time, and 0 in 2022, and also a 4% pressure rate. That's a really good player. That's players you sign to big-time contracts. That's players that you give, franchise tackle money to. Those are players you rely on to block your franchise quarterback. And I think D.J Humphries, although his best years are behind him, I think there's reasons to believe that he can actually be a good tackle for you back in a Shanahan-like offense-esque offense, an offense that can operate, get the ball out quickly, albeit no Deebo Samuel. You still have Christian McCaffrey. You still have players that, George Kittle and company to help alleviate if Trent Williams or even Colton McKivitz goes down and you don't trust D.J Humphries, a player that you can ultimately put out there and say, hey, just be a body in front of somebody. Don't get beat early. Don't be, Mike Person. Don't be, Matt Pryor, guys who try to be right guards and right tackles and been terrible. And so I think there is something to this that I think a lot of Niner fans like. I do like the move a lot. I think it makes sense. And I think if you dive into the tape further and the stats further, you'll see in 2020, that was his best career season. He allowed only 3 sacks, so more than 2022. However, that was the year he got hurt, but only allowed 3 sacks in 2020 with a 90.8 run blocking grade. That's phenomenal. That's like top tier stuff. That is like David Bakhtiari, Trent Williams type stuff in their prime. Then you have a 79.9, basically an 80 run blocking grade, pass blocking grade. That's a really good player. That's a really, really good player. Now, again, it's 5 years removed from that and a couple injuries, but I think there is credence, to the idea that D.J. Humphries could actually, in fact, be something for you as a backup tackle. Again, can he go back to right tackle? Who knows? But if you compare the stats to even Colton McKivitz, you're looking at a player that I think are eerily similar. You go back to their careers. Like I know last year Colton McKivitz actually was pretty good, a 68.6 run blocking grade and a 72.8 pass blocking grade. But 2023 he wasn't that great. 66.3 run blocking grade, 58.3 pass blocking grade. You're getting probably a better pass blocker with DJ Humphries, whereas McKivitz and Humphries may be equal to run blockers at their best. So I'm not saying there's a competition, because there's not. There's a reason why you brought in Humphries late off an injury as a free agent, but I don't see a reason as to why, as a 32-year-old tackle, if he can play right tackle and left tackle, you probably have one of the better swing tackles in football, which is, I know, not what fans are accustomed to. It's not what a lot of fans were expecting post-NFL draft. It felt like you kind of missed your chance. Like, oh, crap, we didn't get Charles Grant. We didn't get, one of the top tackles. We didn't get Logan Brown from Kansas. We're screwed. We didn't get Marcus Bowe from Purdue. We don't have anybody. Oh, my God. And then in the last couple of days, they brought in Connor Colby, a phenomenal wide zone run blocking guard from Iowa, as a 7th-round draft pick, and signed D.J. Humphries as what presumes to be their swing tackle of the future if he can go back to the right side. I have questions about that, but overall, this is a good move for San Francisco. It's a smart move. It costs them nothing. Like, the best moves, and I think it's why, we herald the Deshaun Gibson signing. Oh, it was a great move. Brought him in during training camp. Well, San Francisco essentially said, D.J. Humphries, we're going to sign you to a 1-year deal, be a veteran cheap option, and plug a hole we currently have. Now, I do think San Francisco, this to me is a pivot move for them, but it's a pretty good one if it works out. Now, it has to work out, obviously, but you don't get Charles Grant. You kind of get burned by the Raiders in round 3 ahead of pick 100. But if Humphries can be just a competent backup veteran tackle, you have a pretty good tackle room again now. Of course, it could still use an upgrade. But even in this awkward world where you don't want to look too far ahead because living in the now is what matters, I think of in one offseason time where Colton McKivitz's contract's up. San Francisco's probably picking somewhere in the high teens, maybe 20s. And they get lucky, maybe you're in the 30s again, albeit it's a stretch of an imagination. You're probably going to be a borderline, if not a playoff team next year, so the odds you get one of the top tackles are slim. This does almost give you some protection where if Colton McKivitz likely leaves in 1 year, you're probably going to get a compensation pick in free agency. And also, you're going to save some money bringing in D.J Humphries, where if he performs well or he can play for 1 to 2 more years, you have a Band-Aid offensive tackle for maybe not 1 year as a backup, but maybe 2 years, 2 years as a starter. So, again, it's looking really far ahead, but San Francisco often does that, where you don't think of things where they bring in Daniel Brunskill, they draft Spencer Burford, they bring in John Feliciano, and a lot of moves they made on the offensive line. Even Ben Barch claimed on waivers during the season. Who would have thought in 2 years later he'd be a starting left guard for you? No one did, right? So I really think that San Francisco was, one, giving themselves veteran backup protection in the tackle room, but also maybe in a weird, kind of outer world situation where McKivitz leaves in the free agency next offseason, probably for a pretty big contract, get you a comp pick, use that comp pick on a tackle, maybe fingers crossed it's a third-round pick. But also Humphries can be someone where you don't mind him being on your offensive line next year if it all pans out for you. And again, gives you further protection, saying, we don't have to reach for a tackle. We can get the guy we want actually in round 1 or round 2 because we have Humphries to be kind of the nice floor-level player. Humphries to me is what Leonard Floyd and Malik Collins were or could have been this year. Like basement players that have really high floors but, don't have high ceilings. Guys you bring in and just Band-Aid the issue. It's kind of like in, This Is the End, where Seth Rogen's like duct taping the crack on the wall. It's like the crack is still there. Like it's evident. Like if Trent goes down, yes, Humphries can Band-Aid that and duct tape it for you, but maybe there's some way where the duct tape may be a little stronger than you think. And I think that D.J Humphries can actually play for you. He seems pretty happy to be in San Francisco. And it's also a fresh start, right? You have a player that is, torn his ACL. He jacked up his hamstring last year with Kansas City. And is like, man, I thought I was back and I wasn't. It got ripped away from me. And I want to come back and prove myself again. I'm really looking forward to if Humphries can push somebody, not for a roster spot, because I think if he's healthy and is competent, he'll make the roster. But ultimately, if they like him enough, I could see a world where they bring him back in 2026, knowing Trent's getting older and McKivitz is a free agent next year. I know it's far away down the road and everything, but I do think there's a path where maybe something works itself out in the future for San Francisco. But do you like the signing? Do you not like it? Or are you just saying, thank God it's a tackle. Thank God they found somebody. Thank God we finally have somebody that can back up Trent Williams and Colton McKivitz. The next thing is that San Francisco has announced key off-season dates. The Niners will begin rookie minicamp next weekend, the 9th and 10th of May. Then you also have OTAs May 27th through the 28th, May 30th, June 2nd, June 3rd, and June 5th. Mandatory minicamp on June 10th and June 11th. I bring that up because I do want to talk about Brock Purdy for a small second here. And it's because I do think that it was yesterday that Adam Schefter and Tom Pelissero both said a deal's not close. And I think Schefter added, the target is midsummer. Well, I think of June 10th, mandatory minicamp. That's kind of a hard target. June 10th, June 11th, June 9th. There's that weird, awkward kind of 6-day stretch from June 5th, their last OTAs, to mandatory minicamp on June 10th. Can you get it done there? That's the middle of summertime. There's 5 days off in between practices. Can you nail down a contract then? Purdy's already come to the OTAs, voluntary workouts thus far. I'm sure he's still there now. He was eating tacos on Instagram yesterday. And so I'm sure he's in San Francisco, in Santa Clara, near the facility, working out and stuff. You have all these days with him in the building, his agent there. There's ample opportunity to ramp things up and get a deal done sooner. He's there now. There's a big gap in between when he really has to truly show up, which is June 10th, but also, if he's already there, you essentially have 27 days till OTAs begin. Why can't you do that? I know a deal isn't currently close, but and money has to go back and forth, and negotiations, are negotiations, right? But There's a lot of days the agent and Brock Purdy could be upstairs after practice, before practice, off days, hammering things out, talking to John Lynch, and I think that a hard date, albeit training camp days, haven't been announced just yet. They usually lead into preseason, so you're going to find those probably in August at some point. But if you want to talk about like an early summer, midsummer target, June 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, get things done in that small gap in between OTAs and minicamp where there's no pressure, no one's talking about it really. It's okay, Brock's practicing, so it's not that big of a deal. I think things are going to get done sooner than people expect, but as Schefter said, midsummer, that's middle of June. So I really am kind of targeting that time, or they do it in between minicamp and training camp, so June 12th or whenever they come back, probably in August for training camp, so about a month off in between. Maybe a deal gets done then, and hopefully they can work things out. Leon Sandcastle asks here, off topic, but I appreciate it, says, weird thought, the Jets last year attempted 11 fake punts. We saw Wisnowski have some wheels in the NFC Championship game. Could we see some designed fake punts? I think you're going to see more creativity from Brant Boyer for sure. I think, you already see it now with the personnel they brought in, Richie Grant, Pinnock, Siren Neal, bringing in some gunners. Again, I always forget the linebacker from Tennessee they signed to be on special teams. They went and got Nicholas Martin in the draft, Upton Stout in the draft. They went and drafted Junior Burgeon. They're bringing in a kicker for rookie camp. So you're going to see some turnover, yes, from personnel standpoints, but also you're going to see more creativity. I don't know how many fake punts you'll see. I'll just say this.
At the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event, get deals so right, it almost feels wrong. Now's the best time to get that Hyundai you've always wanted. Plus, every new Hyundai comes with America's best warranty and 3 years or 36,000 miles of limited complimentary maintenance. Don't think you can get away with all that? Think again. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. It's a great day for a new Hyundai.
Unlike Brian Schneider and Kyle Shanahan last year, in that Rams game, when both those guys knew there was probably a fake punt coming and didn't call a timeout, didn't change the special teams play, Brant Boyer's probably going to be yelling and screaming at somebody saying, change the freaking play, this is a fake punt coming. So you're going to get somebody more on there, I guess if you want to use a kind of a baseball term, playing on the tip of their shoes or on their feet and toes, not their heels. Brian Schneider played too much on his heels, and Brant Boyer seemingly is being aggressive, getting personnel, kick returners, kickers in the building to do what he can to help improve the unit. So maybe not fake punts, but you're going to see somebody more prepared at least as their special teams coordinator. Also, I know Aaron Wilson reported it today, but I do want to confirm with you guys. I just got a report from Hank Bachmeier, quarterback from Wake Forest. He is going to attend San Francisco 49ers rookie camp, and it's a long list thus far. Rookie camp starts May 9th and 10th. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 players already in place to show up. I'm sure many more to come. It's one quarterback. It's Hank Bachmeier from Wake Forest. It's Nick Estimo from Montana, Bo Belquist from North Dakota, not NDSU, just North Dakota, Bentley Hanshaw from Liberty, John Campbell Jr. from Tennessee, Micah, I think it's Maskua, offensive tackle, Elijah Hills from Wisconsin, defensive tackle, Daquan Doucet, defensive lineman, Eric Phillips from Cincinnati, who corrected me saying he is 6'3", and he had 5 sacks last year, not 3. Ty French, linebacker, Tristan Sinclair, also a linebacker, cornerback James Burgess, safety Jonathan McGill, defensive back Jack Howell, long snapper, Jordan Silver, and kicker Kenny Almaderis. So 18 guys, 16 guys ready to go. There isn't a limit as to how many players they can bring in for rookie camp, but the reason why I bring these guys up is because a lot of you, including myself, don't always know who these guys are. And would you want me to kind of give you a deep dive into each one? Should I do it for YouTube Shorts? Should I do it for a long-term podcast? What would you guys like? Tell me in the comments down below. Now, it's also worth noting that a lot of these guys usually don't make the team, so keep that in mind. But with camp starting on May 9th, it could be a good opportunity to learn maybe a player or two who can maybe make a splash in front of Kyle and John and some scouts and coaches when nobody else is watching. For a team that needs offensive tackles, they have two there. Trying out a fifth quarterback, Hank Brockmeyer, confirmed to come today. That said, Leon Sandcastle also says, I like they're emphasizing run defense and getting players that bring that quote-unquote swarming mentality back. Haven't seen that in the last 2 years. Yeah, I think that there has been a little bit of that swarming mentality from a lot of carryover players, Greenlaw, Hufanga, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. A lot of it has gone by the wayside. Lenoir's in that group too. And even last year, they were bringing guys like Mustafa, who has that. But new defensive coaches, new schemes in a way, Steve Wilks, schematic differences. It does feel like San Francisco truly hasn't had that swarming mentality maybe since like the first half of 2023. But even then, their run defense was atrocious after they lost those 3 straight games. It was really good to begin the year when they were like 5-0 and they were beating the Cowboys and just crushing them. Then, or that 22? No, it's 23. Because then they lost to the Vikings and the Bengals and the Browns, and then it fell by the wayside. They have a bye week and they got back to kind of the basics against the Jaguars. And against the Ravens, it kind of fell apart again. So you're right. It's clear as day. They walked into this offseason saying we have to find guys that play our style of defense. Upton Stout, Marquise Siegel, Michael Williams, and Alfred Collins, and even Nick Martin, for as much of the hate he got for being a third-round pick, which isn't his fault, or even San Francisco overdrafting him compared to getting an offensive tackle in the room, Nick Martin plays that swarming style of defense you want to see. He's running around, making tackles like 140, 130 in 2023. He's, for the lack of coverage skills he has, he's a good blitzer. Like, they want to get after it. And I think there is something to be said about a defensive coordinator in Saleh that, and really even Brant Boyer, like, they want to get to the football. They want to wreak havoc on quarterbacks where they're saying, whoever has the football in their hands while we're on defense, attack, 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 attack. And where it seems like the last couple of years, it's been more of like, okay, let's react, not attack. And that's kind of changing now with Saleh back in the building, which is exactly why he is back. There's a reason why San Francisco did not wait to fire Nick Sorensen. Yes, they were going to bring him back in a different, lane or different position, but there's a reason why they saw people like Dennis Allen, Anarumo, Eberflus, Gus Bradley, Jeff Ulbrich. Shout out Jax Ulbrich, getting fined a lot of money for some prank calls. Then there's, Saleh. They said, hey, this is the best crop of defensive coordinators we've seen since like 2021, 2022. Nick Sorensen, get out. And it was the right time and a smart time to do so. And I think, you bring Saleh in, they have some coaching, staff people already in place. Do I think Saleh's probably a Band-Aid? Maybe, but I can really only think of one coaching destination where like a guy could get fired in the offseason. Maybe two, like the Bengals, Zach Taylor if they suck again, the Giants and Dable, but they just drafted Jackson Dart, so I think it kind of buys them 2 years' time. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe the Dolphins and McDaniel, a lot of questions there. So there's like 3 teams off the top of your head where you say could be kind of fired by the end of the year, which could give Saleh a reason to leave, but I don't know. But yes, I do love the idea that they are getting back to attacking. Too many times, it felt like last year, and even in 2023 late with Steve Wilks, they weren't attacking. Or if they were attacking with Steve Wilks, it was over-attacking. Halftime against the Vikings, where it's like, why are you zero blitzing? Just play prevent, protect the ball. Like, what are you doing here? And then, like, in the Super Bowl, like 3rd and 1, the blitzing, like what are we doing? So I would agree. getting back Robert Saleh, Bobby Trees, as I call him, there is a return to brand. And that brand is hard-nosed, smash-mouth, get takeaways, get turnovers, get ball-hawking players in there, guys that want to create chaos near the football. That stuff matters. They drafted 3 chaos creators on the defensive line in C.J. West and Collins and Micah Williams, and even the 2 secondary pieces they brought in, Upton Stout and Marquis Siegel, those guys also are really good players at the line of scrimmage. So, yes, to your point, Leon Sandcastle, which I'm pretty sure Leon Sandcastle, I think in Madden 16, whatever it was, I think you could draft Leon Sandcastle during franchise mode. Maybe I'm wrong there, but it was a pretty cool tie-in. Rather off topic, but again, I love the name so much. But, I think for San Francisco, I'm sure people now are diving into who is Micah Williams, this, that, and the other. I'm trying to learn more about the players who they drafted. And with that, I do want to end today's show, but I want to let you guys know draft grades are coming very, very soon. Breaking down all 11 players, draft grades and whatnot, and I will be doing scouting reports on all 11 picks just for you. Only you. All the hard work for you guys out there, but if you could, like, share, subscribe. When do you think Brock Purdy signs? Do you like the D.J Humphries signing? And would you like a breakdown of each and every Niners rookie minicamp invite before May 9th and May 10th, which is their rookie minicamp dates? Tell me down below in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Leave that audio podcast review. You can follow us on social media at 49ers_access is the X and Twitter. 49ers.access is the Instagram, and use that promo code 49ersaccess, 49 ERSACCESS at SeatGeek.com to save yourself $20 off your first purchase. As always, my name is Sterling Bennett, and until next time, stay faithful.